شباب انا ممكن اخرج معاكم السبت ما عنديش مشكله، لكن امتى وفين؟ انا شغال معاكم، يا اما نخرج الصبح بدري لان عندي شغل، يا اما ممكن نعملها بعد الساعه 3 ونقلبها غدا، وممكن نروح مثلا طواجن ابو عمر، نروح حاجات من حاجات زي روتانا، امبابه، وات ايفر.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Because this is a face-to-face, but I don't know your faces versus your names يعني. فحابب إن احنا نتعرف على بعض تاني يعني. بس I know some of you يعني. بس let's start. Carmen. Yes. Carmen. Okay. Oh, okay. You look different on. شوية. Okay. Calm, I know. Hashish, I know. You have to change your profile picture, okay? Adam. Abdurrahman. في اثنين عبد الرحمن. Okay. You was with me. You were with me in the 106, yes? Yeah? It's the same name exactly. Anyways. Ad. Okay. Karim. Okay. But the profile picture is very different. Yeah, أخيرا ما تقول من الأول. He was with me in 106, yeah. And then he's continuing a minor in computer science because of me, but yeah, I don't know what will happen. Adham. Okay. You look very different on the on the profile picture. Okay. Mariam, huh? Okay. I know. Anna برضه. Two Annas at the same home. Okay. Selma, yes, I remember. Yusuf. You were with me, sir? Okay. Yusuf Awad, sir? Okay. Yasin, I know. Mahmoud. Ahmed? Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. First advice that you have to be friends of each other. Why you have to be friends of each other? Because next week you're going to have your project. And there are two ways to select groups. The first way is the hard way, and it's a bad way. So I'll get the alphabetical class list, and then I say Hashish with Ikram, with Sayam, and that's it. And this is a very bad way. I just pick the groups alphabetical. But the best way is that you have to mingle between each other. So next class you have to know each other, yeah. At least you have to select some people that you feel comfortable to work with, yeah. So just select not your friends, but people, because your friend يعني ممكن بيلبسوك. The best way is that يعني you have to select people who يعني somehow you can work with each other, yeah. And by the way, this created some problems because at the online people were not knowing each other, yeah. But at the end of the day, some people did the project on the behalf of others, and at the end of the day, they got higher grade than others because others were just relaxing. So Yusuf did the project on the behalf of others, and at the end of the day, he got A, while others got B minus and B minus or D, I don't know it whatsoever. So at the end of the day, two advices. You have to know each other, okay? And you have to select some people whom you can work with, yeah, whom you are comfortable to work with. And this a piece of advice also. Don't do the project alone. This is a disaster. So the project is intended to have group work and group contribution. At the end of the day, there is somehow an oral exam for the project. Yeah. So you have to divide the work, and as it is the group, then you have to help your colleague to finish the work also. And it's a collaboration at the end of the day. Yeah.
Doctor, groups are not
Four. So and the best way is to keep it at 4. Yeah. Don't make it 3 because 3 will be so much work more than necessary. Yeah. فبالتالي keep it just as 4. At this point it will be a good piece of work. Yeah. 3 it will be somehow very challenging. Yeah. Okay. This is the first news. The second news will give you. Mariam will give you some QT, and will give you lots of QT. I know that you're having this in the lab, but some of you are having trouble with the lab. So at the end of the day, the project has a significant part that is QT. In order to be fair, Mariam will give you some QT. Shihab, the other assistant, will give you some QT. And fortunately, there are 2 undergraduate assistants that just joined the course. So they will give you whatever you want. So at the end of the day, we'll try as much as possible to give you some QT for people that they are having challenges with QT. I delayed the assignment till Monday, but this is a good news. The bad news that assignment 3 is coming. And we have two options. I know that you're having exams and stuff like this. The issue is that if we should finish this course by 6 assignments, then this means I will calculate all of them. If we finish by 7 assignments, then I will drop the lowest grade. If we finish with 8 assignments, then I will drop the 2 lowest grades. So the more we do assignments, the better chances for you. It's not a way of challenging you or torturing you. I'm not interested in this. I'm just interested to give you some good piece of knowledge that you can use later on. So at this point, I have no extra news. So you ask me if you want, then we'll start. But it I'm the same person.
The summer is coming before the midterm?
Yes, it's coming before the midterm, but I will be tolerant in the deadline. Don't worry. Okay, but just see it. By the way, solving it before the midterm is a very good practice for the midterm. And I will give you some review sheet also before the midterm. So approximately on Sunday, Monday, I will give you a review sheet. And this review sheet is how the midterm, the style of the midterm is coming. Yeah.
Look, if we solve the mock exam, we'll be able to solve them.
Not the mock exam, it's a review question.
Review question, then to solve them, we understand them, we'll be able to solve in the
Inshallah. Just pray. Okay. Yeah, that's keep it friendly. Life is easy and don't complicate yourself. Yeah. Just submit. This is the most important part. Okay? Right. Any other questions? So we're fine to start. Okay? So, previous time we spoke about polymorphism. And we said something about polymorphism. What's polymorphism? Someone still remembers? Polymorphism. Yeah, we said it at the end of the lecture. So, polymorphism is multiple faces. Yes? Many faces. And I really stress that you really understand not the English language but the concept before the programming. In this course, it's very important that you understand the concept. And if you understand the concept and generalize it, you will be able to code so easily. So my main idea here is to let you understand the concept. So polymorphism is multiple faces, and it's very similar in real life. You know, I and Hashish are friends, okay? And then I discovered that Hashish is cheating on me, okay? So he has two faces. The face with me and the other face that he's cheating with me. Okay? This will affect the video. Okay. So Hashish has two faces. He is the same person, but he has different acts. It is exactly polymorphism. Polymorphism is actually you are having the same function, the same person, but one function is doing something that is somehow different than the other function. Okay? So this is the general idea of polymorphism. And then we have two things. We have overloading and we have overriding. Okay? And I want you to remember That's the language. So I just want to remember a few words. Overriding is about inheritance. Overriding is about inheritance. Just concentrate. Overriding is equal to inheritance. And overloading, general. Okay, so let's start with overloading. We spoke about overloading many times before. So what's overloading? Okay.
When we say that we change either the parameters or the return type?
Yes. Yes, we change the parameters, that's fine. We change the parameters and then data types.
And the operators, yeah.
Excuse me?
And the operators. Operators.
The operators, okay. So you have the same function and you change the parameters and their data types. That's fine. So this is basically overloading. And I want to give you something extra about overloading. That it is done at compile time. What does it mean that it is done at compile time? You know you have your C++ file, and after you're done with writing C++, then you are compiling it. And what's really compiling? Compiling is actually change the English language into a machine language. Change the English language into a machine language. So, overloading is done at compile time, which is basically, as I said, this is when you compile your C++ code. So, this is your C++ code, and those are your English, and it is going to be transformed into a machine language. And the machine language is basically ones and zeros. Okay? So this is the machine language. So overloading is done at compile time. And what's really being done? What's really being done at compile time about overloading? So we'll speak now about the concept of binding. What's really binding? Okay? Binding means association, linkage. So binding means association or linking. So what's really association or linking? So if you have a class and this class is called, I'll select one of you. So I'll select Zidane. Okay, so the class of Zidane. Okay. And in the class of Zidane, so what's the very important feature about you? Yeah? What do you do best in life? Other than nothing.
Computer science stuff.
No. No, I'm serious. What do you do best?
Writing codes.
He started to be honest. Don't spoil them. Okay? So class Zidane, and then we'll have a function, and this function is the header file, which is called the header function, which is called Zidane writes. This is a function, and then whatever kind of parameter it takes. So first, you define the function in the header file. You define the function, and then later on, you provide and implementation for the function that calls the derived. Okay? And then from the main, we're creating an object of the dam. So the dam is the name of the class. And we're creating an object of the dam. So what should we call your object? That's too basic. Anyways, so let's call it Z1. Okay? And then Z1 dot the dam class is only based in one function in this life, so which is writing. Okay? So Z1 dot the dam. Right. So what happens when you are compiling this program? When you are compiling this program, so the first thing that the compiler put this function into certain memory location. Puts this function into certain memory location. So let's assume that this function exists at memory location 1000. And then from the main, when we are calling the dam function, so what will happen? So the compiler will link the calling of the dam.write will bind it to memory location 1000. So whenever you call the dam.write, it will go for memory location 1000 and it will execute this piece of code. Okay? So if you call again the dam.write, it will go and execute this piece of code. So this is called binding. So we'll come back again and again to binding. And so again, let's go to overloading. So overloading means multiple functions which has the same name. And let's see an example and discuss binding again. And we'll come to this slide again and again.
دي ممكن تنزل شويه عشان انا مش عارف اشوف الفرق.
أعمل إيه؟
لا دي
دي؟
لا المكتب
لا المكتب لا.
بينزل هو اكيد بينزل.
بينزل؟ طيب معرفش.
مش عارف هو كان نازل على الاخر ولا لسه.
مش عارف. يا سلام. نعم؟ لا لا حاجات تانية مش كمبيوتر ساينس. اوكي كده شايف؟ اوكي. So let's try to see this piece of code and then we'll discuss compile time and we'll discuss what's really binding. So I have a friend of me, so let's have Tayan since he did something for us. Okay, so Tayan, what is the class over here? The name of the class?
print data.
Parent data, yes, this is the name of the class. And how many parent functions do we have? Three. This means, and one of them, the input parameter is an integer, the other one, the input parameter is a double, and the third one, the input, no, it's the character pointer. Okay, you have to be specific, not a character. A character pointer is different than a character, okay? Okay, so, this function, which is called parent, is an overloaded function. And here we have three calls for the parent. So parent function has been overloaded. So we have three parent functions. And then we have bd.parent5. So it will call which function of the three
بيقول
Yes, which one? We have say
First one.
first one
the first one. Why the first one?
عشان هي
أيوة.
بوينت للبرنت
لا مش depend. Okay, so 5 is an integer, and this input over here is an integer. So 500.263 will call which function? Yes, exactly. And the third one will call the third function. Okay, so what will happen at compile time? Yes.
طب هو الثيرد فانكشن دي string character.
The string is the same as the character pointer. You can replace it with a string. It's the same string. So the string is an array of character at the end of the day. Okay?
ودي print array كلها.
كده هياخد hello C++ and then it will print hello C++. Okay. So at compile time, when you are compiling this application, what will happen? So first, what will happen? So first, an object will be created in memory called PD, that's fine, and then we'll have at compile time, then 5. What will happen? The compiler will associate this function, will associate the calling of this function with the implementation of the first function, which is basically this one. So, assuming it will put it in memory location 1000. And then, for the second call, assuming that the second function is at memory location 2000, then that has 500 whatsoever will be associated with this memory location. And the third one will be associated with the third memory location, which is 3000. So this will happen, and this is very important to remember. This will happen at compile time or this binding association at compile time. Don't imagine things, just concentrate. Okay? So, binding means what? Binding means that you associate the function code, which is basically this one, with this piece of code that exists at, let's say, 1000 memory location. This is it. Set at 2000 and this is 3000. So, overloading means what? 3 things. First, it is done at compile time. Second, the same function name was different different parameters, and this binding is happening. I said for 2 things. I'm sorry, not 3 things. This binding is happening at compile time. Any questions in this? Okay. No bad news.
Well, I didn't see anything there. هو
ده صح ده بعيد قوي من ده. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay. Okay, خد راحتك. Okay. You understand this? أميرة صح؟ غادة sorry غادة عامل. Okay. Okay. So you understand this? That's good news. Okay. Let's move a little bit away.
explanation هنا للمال
نعم؟
explanation هنا غير المال
بجد؟ أنا بشكرك. تظاهرت عادت من زيدان بس. Okay. Anyways, so overloading means 2 things also. Means overloading for a function an overloading operator. What's an operator? Overload. So, normally, an operator is what first? An operator is basically plus, minus, multiplication, division, etc., etc. So, this is an operator. Okay? And let's assume the summation, which is a plus. So, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. What does this mean? I got this in this purpose. Okay. So this means that the plus sign is summing two integers, two numbers. But what do I want to do? I want to overload the operator. What does this mean? It means that I want the plus sign not to sum integers, doubles, and floats. I want the plus sign to sum something else. I don't want it anymore to sum two numbers. I just want it to do something else. So, operator overloading, and this is what I am going to take in a moment, is making the operator perform different than what it intends to do. Making an operator doing something different than what it is intending to do. If we have subtraction, I don't want to subtract 2 minus 1. I don't want to do this. I want to overload it to do a different functionality. I want to overload it to do a different functionality. This is called operator overload. So we'll have an example. Once again, function overloading and operator overloading is done as compiled file. Yes? Okay. So let's have operator overloading. And let me pick one friend. So I picked Yasin since he's the first one to appear in this class. Okay, Yasin. Okay. This is a piece of code. Yes? Yes. So the class name, خلاص, we're going up. So the class name is box, and then we have two getters and two setters. Whatever number of setters, whatever number of getters, this is well understood. And then we have three private variables. We have three private variables: length, width, and height. Also, this is understood. Width. خلاص شغلش بالك من الحاجات الصغيرة. So length, width, and height. Whatever. Okay? مش ده موضوع أساسا. So we have three private variables, and let's look at this function for Yasin and all. Let's put at this function. So this function is different than the normal function in few things. So first, what's different, Yasin, in this red line?
Okay, we have the parameters, which are the same as the copy constructor parameters.
Yes, the same as the copy constructor. Yes, this is good news. And the copy constructor, what did it do? Was it doing?
The copy constructor is meant to initialize an object using another existing object.
Perfect. So just reminding you, so Yasin remind us that we took something that is called a copy constructor, and basically one object, which is called, let's say, box2 is equal to box1. So what does this mean? This means that the values of the attributes of box1 will become the same as the values of the attributes for box2. What does this mean? This means that in memory, I have box 1 and box 2. Okay? And box 1, let's say, has a length of 5, box 2 has a width of 10, and box 1 has whatever the height of, let's say, 20. Box 2 is the same. Is not the same. Box 2, we wanted to equal box 1. What does this mean? This means that box 2 length will be the same as 5, box 2 width will be the same as box 1, which is 10, and 20, which is the height, will be 20. So box 2 equal box 1. So this means that, the values of the private members for box 1 will be the same as the values for the private members for box 2. Clear? So let's continue with Yasin. So one new thing here is the operator. So this is a keyword. This is an operator. It means that this function is intending to overload, not a function, to overload an operator. To overload an operator. So we have function overloading and we have operator overloading. So operator operator overloading means that I am trying, what I will do, I want to do that the plus, the summation, it's not summing two integers together. I want the plus to do something else. This is basically an operator overloading. Function overloading, I want the function to do different thing. Operator overloading, I want the operator to do different thing. Yeah, that's fine. So let's continue with Yasin. So this function, and then this is the operator that we want to overload. This is the operator that I want to overload. So it can be plus, it can be minus, it can be anything. So it can be anything from this table. This table has all the operators that I can overload and all the operators that I cannot overload. Let's return back. This is a minor detail. So, you have seen this function, ignore about const now, we'll have 15 minutes explanation for constant, static and stuff like this later. So, it receives what as an input? It receives, no, not the box. You're right, but you're not explaining it well. So it receives an object. It doesn't receive a class, of course. I know that you understand. So it receives an object which is called B that belongs to the class that is called box. Okay? And it receives that by reference. So this is our and friend. So it receives an input, which is an object which is called B that belongs to a class that is called box. And what does it return? So it returns an object. It really returns an object. So this is a return box. This is a return box. And what's box here? Box here is an object that belongs to the class that is called box. I know it's a little bit difficult, just bear with me. So, it returns, this function is overloading the AND side, and it receives an object that belongs to a box, and then it does some addition, and then it returns an object. Let's understand how it works, and then we'll repeat it again. So to call this function from the main, we are box 3 equal box 1 plus box 2 or box 2 plus box 1. It doesn't matter. So there's box 1 and this is to the right hand side and this box 2 to the left hand side. And then box 3 is the summation of box 1 and box 2. What does it mean? Let's understand it before C++. What does it mean summing box 1 plus box 2? What does it mean? Forget about C++ and its complication and stuff like this. It means that I want to sum all the values of all the private members of box 1 and sum or all the private values for the member variables for box 2. This is what I want to do. What does it mean also? So it means I have box 1 in memory and then I have box 2 in memory. The height of box 1 is 5. The height of box the length of box 1 is 5 and the width is 10 and the height is 15. And then I have box 2 and the length is 10 and the width is 20 and the height is 30. What does it mean I want to sum box 1 plus box 2 plus box 1? It means I want to sum this 5 with 10. I want to sum this 10 with 20. I want to sum this 15 with 30. So I am summing the values of the private members of box 1 and box 2. So let me go over this piece of code. So basically at the main we have box 1 and box 1. Yassine, what is the length of it? The length, breadth and height.
6, 7, 5.
6, 7 and 5. So this is 6, this is 7 and this is 5. Okay, and the second one? How much?
12, 13, and 10.
12, 13 and 10. So what do I want to do by operator overloading? And this is the function that we will explain again. It means I want to sum 6 plus 12. I want to sum 13 plus 7. I want to sum 5 plus 10. This is what I intend to do. So operator overloading, the plus here, it's not doing what is a summation of double, float, etc., etc. It is summing the values of the internal, the private variables for box 1 and box 2. So let's return back to the function. So the function says box B, and B here, it is as if it is box 1. And then before the plus, which is the length, breadth, and height, this is box 2. So box 2 plus box 1, and then return box, which is box 3. So I map the function into, the equation into the function. So we have box 3 equal box 2 plus box 1. So box 1 is this B dot length, B dot breadth, B dot height. So this is basically the B side. And then box 2 this is length, breadth, and height. So I am summing length with length, I am summing breadth with breadth, I am summing height with height, and I am putting them in an object which is called box, and I am returning this object which is basically box. See, just يعني تأملوها كده and then let me know if you don't understand.
هو يعني doesn't access the private variables in the function اللي عملناه في
Start. Yeah.
ولا with
See the main. This is the main.
okay
This is the main. Box 1, its length is what?
6
Breadth is 7 and height is 5. So this is box 1. Box 2, 12, 13, and 10.
yes.
Then, forget about this curve. Box 3 equal box 2 plus box 1, whatever it is. Box 1 plus box 2. So box 2, so this equation will call the function. Let's return back to the function. Let's return back to the function. So there is something on the right hand of the plus, and there's something on the left side of the plus. On the left side, this is the left side, and on the right side, this is the right side. And then I am returning box, which is box 3.
Okay. My question is, how does it access the private variables in the class box in an object different than the one we're in?
مش فاهم.
And how does it access the private variable? For example, you know what private attributes are from
This is a function inside the class.
A of them and B of them.
Okay, B,
So length and B of height.
B of what class?
Of box.
B is an object of box. So, an object of the class can access the private variables through what?
Okay.
Through the settings. So you already made values before.
As you know, I can set values with settings. Down how we call
It's an object of the same class, so it can access.
حتى لو مش from a different object.
Yes. Just look again. Look again. I'll give you 1 minute.
وقتها ما استخدمناش في دوت جيت لينك وبوست اكسبت لينك يعني ما استخدمناش سيرفرز وجيت
You can do it both in this way.
هو دي فكره لو برايفت تنفع ولا مش تنفع؟
لو انت هتعملها getters and setters from within the function هتنفع. But normally you do يعني كده هينفع وكده هينفع. بس what did we do؟ اسمك ايه معايا؟ Ahmed. What did we do, Ahmed? Is that we set it before, so they do have values, and then we're summing those values. But if we want to replace this part, so you can do it with the getters, not the setters, of course. But it will be a little bit complex. Right. Take a look at it and ask me if you don't understand. Take a look at the main again. Box 8 equal box 1 plus box 2. Then I return back to the function. Then this is box 1, this is box 2. I am summing it and return box 3. بس احنا مالناش دعوة. Should I continue? أكيد.
هو دكتور I don't call it by name. I just add the two objects with sign within.
Yes. Yes. By the way, sorry, 1 second. You can overload the plus and do a minus here. It doesn't matter. لا what the يعني I'm telling you يعني imagine So you are overloading something. So you can do whatever against logic. يعني you can make the plus as a minus and you can make the minus. But normally you're doing something that is يعني بالعقل كده that is near. Yasin.
When I say box 3, box 2 is box 1. So I'm going to box 1 side, does it matter which one is box 2 and which one is box 1?
Yes. يعني
So does it depend on the order you do the summation that was made?
لا ما this is what I'm trying to say. So the order you do, this is a good question. Assuming you are doing it box 2 plus box 1, okay? So B is box 1. Assuming that this is 1 plus 2. So this means you are seeing that box 2 is the B and box 1 is the so the order you are doing it is mapped to this function.
As for non-commutative arithmetics, like مثلا subtraction or division, I think that's what I'm asking.
Oh,
هو where اللينث اللي هو من غير بوكس او بي بوكس ده بتاع انهي بوكس دي؟
right. Then I don't want to write on the thing. Okay. So see this one. Okay, and see this function. This is on the right hand side, or let's assume this is on the right hand side. You're looking at it. So the right hand side is box 2, and this is basically B. Okay. And then the left hand side of the plus is the left right hand. And then you return box, which is
box 3.
exactly. Okay. Should I continue? By the way, I decided to buy something for my boys, and then I decided to give it to you. So, because it's not available except in AUC, so you can. It's an issue. But don't pretend I will do this many times. This is the first time. Okay. أنا رأيي إن أنت مش هتكمل الليكشر. Okay.
What are the equations that can be overlooked? Plus, minus, multiplication, division, and
This is a good question. This is a good question. So those are the operators that you can overload, and those are the operators, that you cannot overload. So you can overload anything and everything. Two columns. You know the class and two dots. Okay. Then we are having operator overloading, and this is called. Those are two things or one thing. I am summing two things or one thing. So nobody's concentrating. It's my mistake. So you're summing two things or one thing? Two things. Tamam. Because the things didn't come to you. Anyways, so I'm summing two things. Okay, that's fine. I am summing two things. So this is called binary operator. This is called binary operator. So I am summing two things, not one thing. I am summing two things, not one thing. This is called binary operator. And there's another kind of operators that you can overload, which is called a unary operator. Unary يعني واحد, one. Okay? So I was summing two things, Now I will perform a unary operator. Unary operator means one thing. Okay, how does it work? In mathematics, if you have y equal minus x, so if x equal minus 3, so y is obviously equals 3. So this is basically a unary operator. Why it's unary? Because I don't have two sides, I have only one side. So I want to overload this operator. I want to overload this operator. So I have my friend. So let's overload. Okay. So where's my okay. So basically, this is a class that is called distance, and this class that is called distance has the feet and the inches, and this is a constructor, and this is a default constructor, and this is a parameterized constructor, and this is a display here, and then I am overloading what? I am overloading this minus. And do we have something here? No. We don't have something here. As far as we don't have an object that we're passing here, so this means that we don't have two things. We're having one thing also, only. We're having one thing also. So I will say feet is equal minus feet. So this means that the feet of the distance will be the negative, yani minus times feet, and the inches will be minus times inches. Okay? So this is basically how to overload a unary operator.
Well, does it have to be a contact distance, or can it be void and then change it?
Well, actually, it has to be returned by distance. You have to return something.
Yeah.
Because this something is this x. But if it is void, what are you planning to do? Yeah, how are you planning to do it?
I can't void, it doesn't return anything, it just makes the feet negative feet.
No, you have to return because this is the x over here. This is assuming it's box C equal minus box 1 or 1. So you have to return.
I have another question.
Yes.
We go back to the box example, and we, like in the actual operator overloading, we're only adding two things. That's in the main, let's say, box 4 equals box 3 plus box 2 plus box 1.
Yes.
Sum the first two first, and then adds the result to the last one.
Yes. But in this case, you have to pass two objects, not one object. You got me? You have to pass two objects, B1 and B2.
But if it was this definition, I can't say.
Yes, of course. Yes. But by the way, it's better to keep it this form here in order to make it a generic function, yeah. And then, assuming that you want to have box 4 equal box 3 plus box 2, assuming you do it on 2 steps, not only 1 step. So it's preferable to be this one. Yes, Mustafa.
Next,
This one?
I'm doing distance. Why am I thinking?
Well, read this, Mustafa. Return distance, feet and inches. What does it mean? What's distance, feet and inches? Don't look at this one. And if you don't get it, so I'll get the jail, whatever I was distributing to. So we will pay its price. So what's distance, feet and inches? No, this is not a function. No, what's distance, feet and inches? Yes, but it's not a function.
The function is distance.
No, it's not a function.
These are
Integers.
It is a constructor, you saved yourself. So it's basically a parameterized constructor. So it will call a parameterized constructor.
هو
So,
we call it a constructor أصلا.
excuse me?
It's already
So you can do it in two different ways. You can do it in this way, and you can do it in another way. The one who will tell me how to do it in another way will get 3 bonuses. You get 3 bonuses. What's your name? Life is unfair, my friend. So, أنا هكتبها. So, tell me what to write in order to verify that you understand. إيه؟ أنت لما تروح بالسلامة كده ابقى حطهم على الإكسل شيت. Distance. D1, that's fine.
Then we have D1 equal negative.
Exactly. So, and this is binding, we explain binding. Type. So, we have explained binding at combined time or combined time, that's fine. And this is for overloading or that's fine also. But we have something that is called overriding. And it is called late binding. It is called late binding. So late binding means that it will happen at runtime. What does it mean it will happen at runtime? Then this kind of association will happen when this black ugly screen comes to your face. So when the program runs, then this association is going to happen. This binding is going to happen. Do we need it? Yes, we need it. Yes, we need it. We need late binding. And when we say late binding, this means that it has to do with inheritance. It has to do with inheritance. It has to do with inheritance. So late binding has to do with inheritance. Okay? So let's see how it will be done with inheritance. So this is a simple trivial example, but it really demonstrates the thing. And late binding is associated with virtual. I know that we took virtual before, but we will see what virtual again. So let's read this very simple piece of code. So I picked a friend. No, I will not pick you. I'm sad for you. No, let's pick someone else and I'll come back to you on the next one. Okay, so let's pick Mustafa. Let's pick Hashim. Yes, that's fair. That's fair. So let's pick her. That's fine. So this is a class that has only one function. What is the name of that class, Karen? Elements. And we have one function which is the sound of the animal. Did we specify the sound of the animal? No. So it basically see out generic animal sound. That's it. So animals means that a generic animal will produce generic sound. But we don't know what this sound is all about. So this is animals. And then we have another class which is called cats. And the cat is, what is the relation of the cat with the animal?
Inherited from the.
So it's basically an inheritance. And inheritance, so the cats inherit from animals. Okay, that's fine. Yes, the cat is an animal. This goes without saying. And it really has another function which is called the sound. And this is the sound of the cat. So because I am an instructor with one electromagnet, so I cannot say this statement. Someone will say. Okay, so this is the sound of the cat. Okay, but I will have a very difficult question now. Okay, so animals, and I have an object called A, and this is a pointer to animals. And this is really a difficult question. And the one who will get it will get 4 votes. So when I say I'm wrong, then you will answer, then read that. So A is an animal and C is a cat. So in English, forget about the term of C++. Then A equals the address of C. What does it mean in English?
Storing the address location.
Say it in English. Say it in English. You get 4 bonuses. What is it? So I'll say. So A is an animal, and C is a cat, and then A equal the address of the cat. This is C++. What does it mean in English? This means that this animal is a cat. English. Forget about how did I write it in C++. Okay. This means what, Yasin? This means what in C++?
We're storing the address of the object C of class cats into the pointer A for class cat.
Yes. So the animal become what?
Cat.
A cat. So the animal become a cat. So animal will point at a cat. Then as if, not as if, it's exactly means that the animal is a cat. And then you heard the recording that I posted for this lecture.
No.
أكيد؟ ما صدقت يا زلمة. Okay. So you get 4 bonuses. معلش. So the animal is a cat. So what is the sound of the cat? Exactly. I cannot say. I said. So it is this sound. It is this sound. But if I execute this piece of code, then generic animal sound. This is not correct. This is against logic. Why? Because I transform the animal into the cat. But still I am having generic animal sound. So it's not right. Despite the fact that I inherited cats from animals. So how to make this code works? So once again, overriding is happening. This is still, this is not overriding. This is what?
Overloading.
This is overloading. And why did it produce generic animal sound? It's because that it is still doing it at
Static binding.
yes, at static binding, which is at combined time. Okay, so let's fix this curve. Okay, so this is virtual. So virtual in English, forget about C++. Virtual in English means that I will let my children do their business. I am a father, but I am really a democratic father. So I will let my children do their own business. So I will let the cat produce the sound of the cat. If I have a dog, that emerge from animals, so I let the dog produce the sound of the dog. And this is basically what's called virtual. Virtual means it's a virtual function. Means that the children will really define what this function is all about. So this is the same piece of code. Forget about this cursor. We will define. I will let you know what does it mean. It's the same as dog, but it's a different thing, a little bit different thing. Anyways, so sound here, and it will be done at compile time or at runtime. At runtime. So at runtime. So as if this when I make this, so it will check. Do I have a virtual function in A? Yes, I do have a virtual function in A. This is the virtual function. This is the virtual function. And then if this is a virtual function, then it will run the whiling at runtime. And accordingly it will produce the right sound for a cat. Now you will do this very easy, so I beg Tamer. You talk to the sweets, yes?
Yes.
So if you don't answer, I will give them one additional bonus, and I'll get back from you one bonus, okay?
رغم كده
Eh?
رغم بعد الأكل
مش هيبقى عليك. خش على نفسك كده. Okay, so Tamer, in the class of the account, we have how many virtual functions?
3.
3. And the class account and class checking account is inheriting from,
Account.
and class saving account is inheriting from.
Account.
So we have 2 children. We have checking account and saving account, and the parent is account. That's fine. So checking account, this is an object of checking account, and this will be calling whatever function, and it will we have, I guess, the private member, it's a balance. So this is the setter for the balance by 100, and this is the setter of the balance by 1000. So the checking account, the checking object, will have the balance of how much 100, and the saving, the balance is 1000. And we have our friend, the virtual function. Yes? Yes. And then account is having the address of checking. So this means that this account will become what kind of account? Checking. And what is the balance of the checking?
100.
That's fine. And this piece of code, the account will become
Savings.
And what is the balance of the saving? That's it.
Bonus.
No, not bonus, of course, I was kidding. We explained it thoroughly.
That means the value of the variable as well.
No, the value. Yes. Actually?
I didn't in my head.
I thought you were asking, sir. I'm sorry. Okay. So someone will ask, since the virtual function is not doing anything useful, so I will just use it for the children to do it. So why I am doing this? You know, if you're looking at this piece of code, so if you're looking at this piece of code, this function has only a C out. So why should we write an implementation for it? It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. So we have the pure virtual function, and the pure virtual function is still a function, however, it doesn't have any implementation, so there is no open and closed bracket, you know. So this is a pure virtual function. This is a pure virtual function. And what does it mean? It means بالعربي العيال هيمبلمنتوا الفانكشن دي. Okay, and it will happen, of course, at runtime. So if we have one example of this, so if we have employee 1 and employee 2, those are the children of a class that is called employee, and employee 1 salary is 5,000, employee 2 salary is 3,000, and then I want to get the salary of employee 1, so it's 5,000, and the salary of employee 2 is 3,000, and that. Okay, and this is still a virtual function that exists in employee. Okay, that's it from my side. I'm too early, so we'll spend 5 more minutes. Okay? Yes.
So if we have a pure virtual function plus abstract, so we can declare an object on itself.
Yes.
If the function, the pure virtual function is not redefined in the child classes, do they still become abstract classes?
No, again, I have an abstract class
Yes.
with function that is called x.
Pure virtual, yes.
Pure virtual, that is called x.
So it has to be redefined. That's if it's not redefined,
Yes.
does that mean that the child class becomes an abstract class? as well?
You mean the parent class is defined. So if it is another pure function or it is a normal function.
If it's not defined in pure virtual, but it's not defined always.
It's not defined first, in my opinion, but I'm not 100% sure that it doesn't become a virtual. But I'll check and come back to you. Listen, it's a little bit away from coding. It's a little bit against common sense, because when you have an abstract class, this means that it is only one and only class. Do you understand me? Because this is abstract class, it means that it is the most generic class. So why should I have, I never even think of trying what you're saying. It makes sense, of course, but I mean, I didn't like, because it's, once again, it's not so much rationalized.
I mean, لو احنا مثلا عندنا pure virtual function بس ما حطيناش implementation ليها في الchild class.
What you can do actually, assuming, yes, I understood what you are saying. So, what you can do, assuming that you have a paintbrush and you have some shapes and you have a function that is called dough. And this dough function, those rectangle, those triangle, those anything. Assuming that you have a class that has a dough function, and this dough, you said I didn't provide an implementation for it. Does it mean that it becomes abstract or it doesn't become abstract? I don't know the answer in C++ as a language, but if I want to do it, even if it will not do anything, I will have an empty function. And just to make this class reusable, I mean if another programmer comes and implement this function, so this means that it's an empty function, so he will provide the code. So making it standard function, which is dough, and making it empty is fine. But it's not rationalized to make it absolutely without any kind of implementation. And by the way, what I just said, this is what's happening in real life, because forget my discussion with Yassine for now. What's happening in real life that you're working in a company, and accidentally there are people that are specializing only in writing the interfaces for the classes. So they don't care about the implementation for the classes. So they just write the skeleton for the classes. Okay? And by the way, those are the people that are highly paid because they're doing design and they're doing interfaces. So those people will standardize the code. So that if a new programmer comes, this means that he will find a standard code, so he will fill in the gaps. Okay? Okay. Any other question? But we'll have 5 more minutes. Okay? Okay. Any question? Face to face is better or online is better? You seem to this idea. No, not you. I am feeling sad. Okay. Anyone disagrees that face to face? Okay. It's not better. It's not better. Okay. So we'll have just 5 minutes. I want you in this 5 minutes, it's not related to the lecture, but it's related somehow to some concepts that appear in what we are describing. And this is just an application. Okay, I will explain the Chinese that I'm saying right now. Okay, so this is the paintbrush, and if you imagine this paintbrush, so I just want you to imagine what are the classes and what are the possible abstract classes or the possible terms that exist in this piece of in paintbrush. Just start talking. So color is an abstract class, or it is, so it's a parent or a child. Just forget about abstract. The parent or a child. Okay. It's a parent. Parent of what? Maybe it doesn't have children, but I'm just asking. No, it's a parent is a parent of another class. So if you don't think about children, so that's fine. Color is a class. What else?
Sorry.
No, just wait 1 second. So shape is a class. Yes, that's fine. And what are the children of this shape? Each shape, that's fine, you get 2 boxes. So shape is an abstract class. And those shapes, the rectangle, the triangle, and stuff like this, is the children of the class which is shape, and shape is abstract. What else? Huh? Brush is a class. Yes, brush is a class. Brush is a class, or copying is a class, or copying is a function. I'm not sure I'm just asking that. So what does the brush do? It just select
A group of pixels and
changes the color. So this is a function or this is a class. And if it is, I don't know the answer, I'm just asking. So if it is a function, then what is the class?
Brush is a function?
Yes, if brush is a function, so this change of the thing is a function. So is it a class or it's function?
Function.
So what is the class of a brush?
Tools can be abstract class and the
Tools?
abstract class and the brush, pen, pencil.
Doctor,
Yeah, it can be.
I guess the brush be the abstract class and the shape is the child class.
لا ده ايه ده قوي. انت بعدت قوي حسين.
مش عارف حسيت كده.
لا so Anna is possibly right. So what Anna is saying, but you can argue that the tool is the class, and then comes other classes like the brush, like the pencil, the
each of them has their like color.
I feel like tools is too broad.
first what she's saying is makes sense or
Yeah,
not?
it makes sense. Tools is too broad because the tools are so different.
Yes, I tend to agree.
Yeah, so maybe.
So what could be in the middle?
Under the drawing tools.
ممكن تبقى drawing tool in the middle. So tool فوق خالص and drawing tool in the middle. Maybe.
Then we can have even a class brush, and there's different types of brushes.
Yes, that's fine. So still the term for brush that we're looking for.
Also, brush is a function. Function.
Yes, what's the class?
The window is function. The window is actually.
You can
It's
have
the one related to each other.
class brush.
But window is a class. Yes, this window is a class. This menu is a class. Then what about this select? This select is the same function as the brush, but it's something that near the brush. This select, you know, you select something and then you cut it. So what else?
ممكن نعمل سايز كلاس للسايزز بتاعت البرش.
No, not really. It's part of the brush, the size. So it's an attribute. What's a class? Excuse me?
And I think the abstract class would be change the portrait.
What this part?
يعني this يعني abstract class
الكلمة العربي يعني.
الابستراكت كلاس اللي هو غير الحته البيضاء دي من ده بنطلع منها البينت برشز والحاجات دي.
Yes, possibly, yes. Yes. Understanding, yes. What else classes?
For brushes feels like an abstract class, or each type of brush or tool feels like another class.
No, not really. What else? Forget about brush.
Has the class view.
The class
View.
view. What do you mean by view?
The view menu is many different ways to use the drawing. So we have the class called view, and each view.
It's part of the window. يعني we have the window, and part of the window is viewing the thing. So what else has classes? Yeah. Excuse me?
Fine.
File is part of the window. So file, by the way, file menu is an object that is related to the class that is the menu. Yasin, you were trying to say something? Other colors is a class. What's the word? Clipboard is a class. But clipboard is a class. Yes, clipboard is a class. So you get one bonus. No, I know that not to be sad. That's okay. So what else?
Rotate.
Excuse me?
Rotate.
Uh,
And then the rotates right.
rotate the shape.
Yes.
Rotate the shape is part of the shape. So the shape, you can draw the shape and you can rotate the shape. صح يا عم؟ The shape, she's saying that rotate is a class. No, rotate is a function that is related to the shape. Okay, so I'll just let you just for your own, يعني big part I'm going to conclude. Big part of this course, yes.
Should we say button is a class?
Button is a class. So in order not to be sad as terminated. So button is a class. Yes. And that's fine. And then if you make save, So this cancel button is an object, and this save button is an object, and they both objects of class that is a button. And in this piece of in this menu, what other classes that you can see?
File types.
Excuse me?
File types.
File types. So a file is a class, and it's an abstract class.
Each folder.
Location?
Location is part of a file, so it's an attribute.
Folder is a class.
Excuse me?
Folder is a class. Or file is a class.
Mr.
File is a class or a folder.
File is a class, yes, we said this.
PNG.
Excuse me?
PNG.
No, .png is a file type, so it's.
Someone see the tab as a class?
Excuse me?
The tab itself, the X, both the paint and.
The X, this one?
tab مثلا الهيد هيكون البينت مثلا
One thing, I don't understand you, but just 1 second. This window is a class. And one of the functionalities of this window is closing. So it's basically a function. So Muhammad, what were you saying?
the tab itself مثلا save as دي الهيد من التاب اللي هو فيها اكس وفيها اكس هنا اللي هو تو بوز
مش فاهم. ممكن تيجي تشاور عليها؟ مش عارف تعبر عنها. What else? Scroll bar is a class. What else?
the icons.
Excuse me?
The icons are class.
The icons, they are an object. They are objects.
Save as
Object of a file, of a folder, not a file, folder. So folder is a class. Yes. What else?
Each control can be considered a class, like the Dropbox, the textbooks, list.
Yeah, that's perfect. You get 2 bonuses. What else? ما تقلقش. No, you can explain just.
Each control من الويندو دي is a class. يعني الكنترول بوكس اللي مكتوب في البي جي ده يعتبر كلاس كنترول بوكس. اللي فوق تكست بوكس اللي جنبه
Yes. So this file name is a label, so it's a class. This text box is a class. So this one, this search, this BC, it is a class or a function? That belongs to a class which is? No. Text box. Yes, this one is a class because it's a list. Okay? So, one final note, I know that I am late. One final note, when you have your project, when you have your assignment, you have to think of classes. And this is the next lecture, you have to think of a relationship between classes and each other. And this is basically the next lecture. So the tough part, and I repeat 2-3 times, the tough part is knowing your classes and how they are connected with each other. After some time, C++ will be the easiest part. So people who will get A's in this course is not the people that will write C++. They are the people who come up with the best classes and how those classes are interrelated with each other. So that's it. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.